Hey guys, the new patch just came around, and with that, a new hero is upon us called Dawnbreaker. So we're gonna go in the Dawnbreaker a little later or in the next video. But in this video, I'm gonna be talking about the map changes. So in the map changes, the Radiant, Mid, Safe Lane, Primary Jungle, Dire Jungle, and all the warding spots have been changed. So we're gonna be looking at those changes. So as you can see here, currently we are looking at Radiant Jungle, Radiant Mid. So Radiant Mid had this separation in between first. So you could only go in the Radiant mid lane from this place, from the behind triangle of Radiant Triangle, and from the river or from the middle. But now, as you can see, there's this one path that has been included in the new patch. So what's going to happen with this addition is now position 4 of from Dire or position 4 from Dire can actually gank more efficiently from this path. So you're going to be seeing a lot of position 4 or position 3 people ganking early phase in the mid lane, and many more ganks would be happening in this patch. So all those mid players should be careful when they play mid next time, and make sure that you probably ward here, because you're going to be seeing a lot of warding over here, or probably here, because this is the only place that covers all the 3 paths to go to mid lane. So make sure you put a ward over here. And next we have Radiant Safe Lane. So Radiant Safe Lane had the outpost have been changed altogether in this patch. So the outpost beforehand, the outpost was nearby the small camp, and the small camp had this small space, and there was no space in behind. You could cut these trees if you wanted to go from this path. But now in the new patch, we have a camp over here instead of the post, and there's a path behind the small camp, so people can actually cut these trees and farm from here if they want. This is like how it was used to be in Dota 6.6 something. There used to be these trees, and people used to farm these small camps like X, or like there were junglers who were like farming these creeps at level 1. And the camps from the large camp from here has been moved from here to here. So what this will do is, this is actually a really good buff for the Dire push, the Dire off lane, because before they had to pull this lane, or this lane could be pulled by the Radiant support position 5, and they just pull this wave. So how did it go was, they pull this wave, and then when these creeps died and your creeps were still alive, they used to pull this camp. But now, since the camp is over here, this pulling will be contested easily by the position 4 of Dire, or you know what, they can pull from here, since there is this small path, and if you can cut this tree, you can easily pull from here and add them to your lane. So this is actually a buff for Dire offlane. So offlanes are actually buffed in this patch. Moving on forward to Radiant Primary Jungle, we have this warding place over here in the middle of the jungle, with 2 camps over here and another camp over here. But now we have the post in the middle of the jungle, and there's this one camp here at the starting of the jungle. So this camp is actually not safe anymore in the mid game phase, and these camps has been added over here. So, and there's this new place to ward. One is over here, and another is over here. And the post also give you something new buffs. So we're going to be going in that in another video. I'm going to be linking that too. And coming back to this, the camp over here has been moved. So there's only 3 camps here in the Radiant Jungle. So if you look at this in from an alchemist perspective, you can easily pull this lane and pull this lane and actually use your acid spray over here and farm these both creep waves at the same time. So the farming meta is like coming back together in this patch, and a really good buff for the junglers in this patch. So now we're going to be seeing the dire side of the jungle. So dire side actually had post over here, and there were two camps over here and the one camp on the below side, and there was one camp over here, and there was a small camp over here, and the only entry to the jungle was from here and from here. But now we have a camp over here, an entrance from here, and another entrance from here. And look, the dire jungle is much closer than the radiant primary jungle, which is like as comparison too far. Like as you can see, the distance is like more compared to dire primary jungle. So if you are a jungler from dire side, it is actually favorable to you more, because you can actually farm all of these three creep camps by only one spell. Example being your alchemist first spell or NA spell that does AoE damage. So you can actually stack these and farm more efficiently now and get those items more faster. And farming guides will be coming soon from all of the Dota channels, so that's good for all the junglers. And moving on to dire triangle. So dire triangle was like this. There was this one entry, we had two camps, one ancient camp and one big camp, with one small camp on the lower side with rune spawning in the middle. But now we have a big camp over here, and the big camp from here moved to here. The ancient is still there, with the small camp also still being there, but instead of the camps there is this place for warding. And if you see closely, you can see that there are a lot of new trees in this place. So what these trees do basically is that you can actually juke someone using these trees. And if you don't know what juking is, I'm going to be linking the video just on the top right corner. You can click on that and learn what juking is. So the dire triangle is actually nerfed, if you ask me, because before, if you see, you could actually farm these by cutting these trees and this tree, and you could bring up both of these creeps over here and farm them efficiently. But now, as you can see, that they are far ahead. So if you need to farm both of them, you're not going to be inside of your triangle, you're going to be outside and somewhat exposed, if you ask me. So this is actually a kind of a nerf. So whoever, like in this patch, it is more the farm is more in the primary jungle, because the camps are much closer now. So make sure that you farm efficiently and keep that in mind whenever you play next time. So next thing is dire safe lane. So dire safe lane had this one path, and when there was small camp over here, and whenever you pull the lane, so there were basically two ways of pulling this lane, pulling this camp. You could pull the normal way, you could pull the creep from here, or you could cut this tree and go from here and pull the wave from here. But now, since the post has been moved from here, and this is actually on a high ground, this is not low ground. As you can see, there are these stairs over here, and there's this plate for warp. So, and as you can see that this place is actually going to be get warded, so people are going to be like seeing if you pull the camp by the radiant side. So people are going to be warding at this place if they want all of the vision of your jungle. So, and coming back to the pulling phase, you can actually pull from the two sides now. So the pulling actually got buffed a bit, because if you cut this tree and you pull the way from all the way up to here, you can I don't know if you can pull away till here, but I'm pretty much confident that you can still pull from here, and you can pull from here too. So pulling is actually somewhat similar and somewhat different, if you ask me. But the warding place that is new here is this. So make sure that you put a sanitary ward over here to scout out any of the observer ward from the enemy scouting your pull and like stopping your pull. So this actually tells us that warding is efficient in safe lane from the start. So make sure that you carry a sanitary ward as a support laner or as a carry in the mid game if you are staying in the top lane. So now moving on forward to Radiant top, and there's this ward spot. So basically now there's this new place added for warding. So how do you see that this place is for warding? Since there is this it's a high spot, it's a high ground, and there's this symbol over here. So wherever there are these symbols, Dota has implicated that you can actually put a ward over here, and it's a place for to get as maximum amount of vision from your wards. But before, in the before map, this thing was not here. There was only these trees, and there was this camp over here. So the camp is still here, but the place has been added over here. So the triangles in this patch are not as much secure or like safer as they were in the previous patch. Because the only difference here being is that there is no rune spawning on the river now. So no rune fights probably. I'm going to be seeing in that, but you can actually put a ward over here and scout out any Templar Assassin or Medusa or Alchemist farming in the triangle. So it's actually a pretty big change if you ask me, and we're going to be seeing a lot of new players coming out from the pro player scene or in the lower MR section too. So just keep that in mind whenever you play the next time. And also the place that was here for Radiant offlane has been moved to here. So no warding is gonna be going on over here. So people are going to be warding only in the lane now, or on the stairs. So that's for the Radiant top, and now we're going to be going to the Radiant bot. So Radiant bot has had this high ground space for warding, which actually scouted a lot of the Radiant inside deeper jungle, which was close to the bottom tier 3 tower. But now there is no high ground placed for warding, so only these plays or this place or this place can be warded now. No high ground warding will be going on in the Radiant deeper jungle. So this place is actually much safer to farm if you ask me. And there are many more trees as compared to the previous patch. So what does having more trees means in the game is there are many more juking spots. So people are going to be hiding much more in these kind of places. So as the game progresses, these places will get scarier for the carries who want to farm their items securely. So this place is actually good as well as bad for those kind of plays. So just keep that in mind next time. And the last one is the Dire bot tower. So the Dire bot actually had this place, and there was this room. So these both are got eliminated from here, and there is no place for high ground warding, and there is no rune over here. So only stair warding will be happening, or lane warding will be happening in this patch in the offlane section. And coming to the next sort of update is the tier 1 and tier 2 areas map change. So starting from the first is Radiant top tier 2. So Radiant top tier 2 had these paths that you can actually cross through. If you have ever tried, you can go through these paths and make your way through these woods. And there was this only a small place only 2 trees were over there, and there was this blockage over here, but now the blockage still exists, but there are many more trees as compared to the previous section, and the space between the trees on the left side of the tier 2 tower of the radiant of the tier 2 tower of the radiant has increased much considerably comparing to the recent one, compared to the previous ones. So what change this will do in the gaming part is that you're going to be seeing people picking a lot of purge, or players who depend on hitting their spells in AoE damage like Sand King, Monkey King, or Enigma. These kind of players are going to be hiding more in these kind of places, and whenever these towers are going to be purged, people are going to be waiting for them to push this tower and gank them. So pushing a tier 2 tower in this patch is going to be a lot harder, as there will be many people waiting for you to gank you. So whenever you gank, it's efficient that you ward somewhere here on the top of this hill, or the only place to ward is this hill. So make sure that you put a ward on this hill, which I have seen that many pro players and even low class players don't do. So new players are actually in making now, and we're going to be seeing a lot of new stuff. So moving on to Radiant Tier 2 Tower, which has a similar effect to the Radiant Top Tier 2, with addition of more trees and more places for people to scout and wait for the enemy heroes to push the tower. Because as for example, if you're a purge, you can actually hide behind this tower, hide behind these trees, and whenever an enemy hero comes, there is this place, which before there was no place over here, there was no path, there were only trees over here. So there is this path now over here, so a purge can actually hook people who are passing through this path and actually get a kill easily. So purge actually suits up with this map change, and this is actually a great buff for purge if you ask me. In those low level pubs, you can actually win games or win ganks by using purge, because you wouldn't believe like how much a hook can change the game. Like if there's a enigma who is like waiting to get a black hole over here, because many team fights are going to be happening in under tower now, a purge can actually hook that enigma and kill him beforehand and change the game totally. So just keep that in mind whenever you play under tier 2 next time, or push tier 2 as a dire hero. So next up we have Radiant Bot Tower. So similar to that, Radiant Bot Tower has got many trees now as compared to the previous patch, and this path is actually connecting all the way up to here, but there's this one blockage over here. So with this more paths in between trees, one thing I can actually think of is that quelling is gonna be a really good item in this patch. So it is really efficient that you learn how to use quelling, and I've actually made a video on how to use quelling, and I'm going to be linking up top, so you can click on that and go on that video if you want to learn how to do wood manning, because this trick cutting up your paths using quelling through woods is called wood manning, if you didn't knew that. So similar to the other changes, a lot of people are going to be scouting out other people pushing this tower, like purge or invoker and Tinker and all these players who really depend on other people going out of position to push those towers, and they're going to be getting those easy kills easily. So that was for Radiant tier 2 changes. Now we're going to go to Dire top tier 2. So Dire top tier 2 actually got a lot of changes. So as you can see that this place was fully blocked until now, and they had this high ground over here with trees up here, and there was you could actually cut these trees to move through these woods, but now these trees are same, but there is this path. So the path here has been broadened much more, and there is this new places for people to stay and like look out for other people to hook or kill them. Because if you look, the tower circumference of the tower range is approximately this big. So if you're standing over here, I don't think the tower can actually see you. Or if you know how to use quelling, you can actually move through these trees and go up to here and clear waves, or like cut tree or cut the lane or clear up the lane, and or gang other people, because people are going to be expecting players to gang on them from the back end side, such as draw or hoodwink for the case, because hoodwink really works in this area. So moving on to dire mid tier 2, which is similar to other cases until now. It has more trees, so more places for people to stand and wait for other people to push. And there's this new path over here, and there are more trees over here on this side of the map. And the other things are similar to the previous patch. So moving on to dire bot tier 2. So dire bot tier 2 is actually has received a lot of spacing in between the trees, and yeah, so there has been these trees that has been added to the lane with this new tree, which was actually not here. Like, you would think to yourself, like, what the fuck is this tree doing over here? Like, why would there be this tree? So the reason there is this tree over here is because when you the tower can only get a range of this much area. So think on this. So tower can only get of range up to 1,000 range. I think it's 1,000. I'm not sure about it. So you can just look it up. But I'm sure that it's range up to here. And if you hide behind this tree, you are actually unscoutable by the dire side. So if you hide behind this tree, you can juke other people, or like juke potential gangs or potential spells. Or most likely, if you're a Mars, you can actually spear someone in this fucking tree and kill them. Or like if you're a Wind Ranger, you can shackle them on this tree. So a lot of plays are coming in the laning phase, if you ask me, like players who depend solely who use these trees with their spells to stun the enemy heroes. So that's it for dire top bot tier 2, and now we're gonna go to dire mid tier 1. So dire mid tier 1 actually got a lot of changes in this area, while the other area is similar. If you ask me, there's this spacing in between, so you can actually go through these places. So the way I'm telling you that you can go through is that you see that path, like you can go through these paths. Like if you see a path going through, you can actually go through these paths. So you can go through here, you can cut this tree, you can pass through here. So if you're from Radiant and you're a position for Mirana, you can actually just come here and arrow someone from here and cut this tree and actually gang them from behind. Because people even in high MR places don't expect an arrow coming from behind, because no one can look 360 degrees. They can only look forward while leaning against enemy hero. They wouldn't expect a Mirana ganking on them from behind, or like an arrow coming from behind. So these trees actually bring up a lot of change, if you ask me, in the early phase and then in the mid phase, because this tower is actually broken down up until 15 to 20 minutes in like medium bracket pubs, from legend to divine. I'm sure in the immortal bracket it is broken by 15 minutes. So that all depends on your matchup and on your ranking levels. Like when this tower is destroyed, you have to be careful. Like people can gank you from behind, and people will actually put up wards over here. So we're going to be seeing a lot of new places for people to ward, and wards are going to be really, really important in this new patch. So with this, I think that's it for this video, guys, and that was all the changes in this new Dawnbreaker update for now. And I will do one more video with describing the new heroes' abilities and spells, with all the changes to the other items as well, and to the other heroes, and what all these changes will do in the real game scenario, and then the low game scenarios. Low game scenarios meaning that in the Archon, Herald, or Crusader level games. So make sure that you watch my other videos too, and if you like this video, make sure that you thumbs up this video and help me out, and I hope to see you in the next video.